Welcome to Adult ypww Lesson 5. I do not own the rights to this music. Today's topic is Great Givers, the lad who gave his lunch away. The lesson text is coming out of John chapter 6, verses 5 through 14. The memory verse. I will read the King James Version first and then the New International Version of John chapter 6, verse 9. There is a lad here which hath 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes, but what are they among so many? The New International Version. Here is a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish, but how far will they go among so many? Little becomes much when we place it in the Master's hand. God desires to increase everything that we have and accomplish. Our lesson today demonstrates this increased characteristic of God. The rise in words means multiplying, adding to, adding more, and enlarging. This increase in the characteristic of God is also declared in Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. Now to him who can do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us, we encourage you to be mindful of the beautiful benefit of salvation every day, especially when it seems like you are facing financial lack and uncertainty about your future stability. During these difficult days, you must declare that God will increase you in every area of your life. As discussed in Lesson 1 of this quarter, God is a gift-giving nature and likes to give good gifts to his children. God will reward our efforts when we do our part by living the best Christian life we can and participating in our local church's excellent Christian practices. Our memory verse throws us into a complicated situation in Galilee. Jesus had been blessing the people with miracles at a feast of the Jews. The miracles included the healing of the lame and people with various diseases. Jesus then goes to Galilee after witnessing and hearing about the miracles he performed. 5,000 people followed Jesus to Galilee. When Jesus saw the crowds, he had great compassion for them and wanted them to have a delicious lunch. Jesus asked his disciples about ideas and strategies to feed this great gathering. After this discussion, a lad offers his lunch to one of the disciples to give to Jesus to help feed everyone. The lunch consists of 5 small barley loaves and 2 fish. We don't know the name of the lad who offered his lunch in this passage of Scripture. He is our unsung hero for this week. He could have felt intimidated to offer his help in this situation. He could have also needed to be more interested in the lunch needs of the crowd that day. After all, he had his lunch already. He could have been somewhere playing with his friends and not heard the disciples' conversation concerning feeding the large crowd. Nonetheless, he steps up and offers his lunch. Jesus accepts the lad's lunch, blesses it, and the disciples distribute it to the crowd. From this small lunch, another miracle of multiplication and increase takes place. The lunch was miraculously multiplied to be enough to feed everyone. What is interesting to note is that there were 12 baskets of leftovers after everyone finished eating. This lad was indeed a great giver. His small contribution impacted the lives of the 5,000 people in Galilee that day. Psalms chapter 35 verse 27 says that the Lord finds pleasure in the prosperity of his servants. So let's move forward and believe God for more. The lad in our story had an eyewitness experience of the miracle of increase that happened that day. Jesus has the same miracle working power today in the 21st century. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 8 says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He has a plan to bless us with the things that we need. Jesus Christ can take the limitations of any area of your life and increase them for his glory. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11 says, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Let's be like the lad in our story and contribute to the Lord as he prompts our hearts. then we can expect an increase in the areas that we request. Let's increase our levels of expectation of God's blessings in our lives by looking for opportunities and blessings every day. Giving is such an essential part of the life of believers. Whether you are blessed to give a small amount or a significant amount, we want our hearts not to be, we want believers and unbelievers not to be intimidated or made to feel inferior when they don't have much to offer to any cause. This week we discussed the story of the lad who gave his small lunch as a contribution to meet a significant need. His lunch was blessed and used by the Lord to meet the food needs of the followers of Jesus Christ that day. The questions for today's lesson. Number 1, has anyone ever bought your lunch unexpectedly? How did that make you feel? Number 2, the lad in the story was fearless in offering his lunch to the leaders of this event. Have you ever provided your help or suggestions to your leaders for any event or program? The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.